Good morning everyone. In a previous video of the Tempest Act 2 Scene 1, we have discussed till lines 270 and in this video we will be reading lines 271 till lines 322. So by the end of this video you will be able to learn the explanation of lines 271 till lines 322 and learn the references and literary devices of the lines 271 till 322. So children, in our last video we have read how Antonio instigates Sebastian to kill Gonzalo and Alonso and also be the king of Naples. We also read how Sebastian asks Antonio about his guilty conscience. Children, let us now read lines 271 till lines 284. Antonio: I, sir, where lies that? Now that, children, is referring to conscience. If it were a kaib, it would put me to my slipper. Now children, kaib means a sore or a blister on the foot. Put means force or compel. But I feel not the deity in my bosom. The deity, children, means goddess. And bosom means heart. Let us now discuss the explanation of these lines. So Antonio replies like a hardened villain here. He laughs at the word conscience and says that he has never heard anything like conscience. A guilty conscience gave him no more pain than a blister. A man can get rid of the pain of a blister by wearing slippers instead of shoes. So does Antonio get rid of the qualm of conscience very easily. He feels that this conscience does not sit in his heart. Now children, if you see, the word conscience here is personification as well as metaphor. For conscience has been compared to deity. 20 consciences that stand twixt me and Milan, candid be they, and melt ere they molest. Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. Children, what is the meaning of twixt? It means between. Candid means changed. Molest means irritate. And no better than the earth he lies upon, it means as lifeless as the earth on which he lies. So Antonio says that even if he were troubled by 20 consciences that barred his way to the throne of Milan, however hard they might be, he would melt them into insensibility before they could cause him a trouble. In other words, Antonio says that even if he were endowed with a stiff conscience, he could easily relax or soften it for the execution of his purpose. Thus, Antonio suggests that conscience should be no hindrance to a man's future greatness. He further tells Sebastian that his brother lies there, looking as dead as the lump of earth. If he were that which now he is, that's dead, whom I with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, can lay to bed forever. Now children, let us see the meanings. Obedient steel, it refers to a dagger. Now a metaphor has been used. Steel is compared to an obedient person without the usage of as or like. Therefore, it is a metaphor. So in these lines, Antonio tells Sebastian that he wishes Alonso were what he appears to them, that is, dead. And now that the chance has presented itself to Sebastian, he should take it and be the king of Naples. So far as Alonso is concerned, Antonio agrees to undertake the task of putting him to eternal sleep, that is, death, by sticking only 3 inches of his sharp dagger. Whilst you doing thus to the perpetual wink, for I might put this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, who should not upbraid our course. The children, look at the page carefully. Their metaphors have been used. Now let us see the meanings first. Perpetual wink is the everlasting sleep. I means always or eternity. Ancient morsel means old piece of meat. Sir Prudence, Lord who thinks himself wise. Also, it's a sarcastic title given to Gonzalo. Upbraid means criticize. Course means course of action. Let us now discuss the metaphors. Here death is compared to everlasting wink, that is perpetual wink. Again, the metaphor Gonzalo is compared to a morsel. Now, ancient morsel is a metaphor used for Gonzalo. So, making a thrust in the air with his sword, he tells who? Antonio. Antonio tells Sebastian that by a similar method, he can put to sleep forever Gonzalo, the old piece of flesh, already rotten, this piece of antiquity, this Sir Prudence, who is never tired of reading his moral lectures to them. So if Professor Wisdom is got rid of, now who is Professor Wisdom? That is Gonzalo, Sir Prudence. So if Professor Wisdom is got rid of, he will not be able to denounce their action. Which action? Action of killing Alonso. As he would surely do if they did not dispatch him as well. Or he would surely do it if they did not kill him as well. For all the rest, they'll take suggestion as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business that we say befits the hour. Let us discuss the meanings, children. For all the rest means the other courtiers. Take suggestion means catch the hint. Laps means licks. So Antonio further says, as for the rest of king's counselors, the other counselors, that is Adrian and Francesco, it is their nature to adopt any statements and views which are placed before them, just as it is the nature of a cat to lap milk. Antonio assures Sebastian that these others, who are these others? Again, they are Adrian and Francesco. So Antonio assures Sebastian that these others will back them up in whatever they say or do, that they will count the strokes of the clock exactly as they bid them, not according to the real time, but according to the time that is right for Antonio's and Sebastian's business. So only two persons, Alonso and Gonzalo, are to be removed to fulfill their ambition. Let us now read the gist of the lines. Antonio replies with a yes and asks what guilty conscience is Sebastian talking about. He says that he does not feel anything. He says that if it were a sore on the heel, he would put his slippers on, but he does not feel any pangs of guilt. If there were 20 guilty consciences between him and the dukedom, they would melt away to nothing before they caused him any trouble. He further says that here is Sebastian's brother sleeping with no more than the dirt he is sleeping on, or the dirt he is lying on. If he were as dead as he appears to be now, and he could quickly make him dead with this sword, he wouldn't stand in their way. As for the other men, they can make them believe anything they choose. They'll set into their watches to whatever time Antonio and Sebastian would say. Let us now read lines 285 till 300. Sebastian, thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou gotst Milan, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee. Now let us see the meanings, children. Precedent means example. Tribute, the amount that Antonio gives to Alonso. Sebastian is now a whole hogger with Antonio. He says that Antonio's case shall be his example. He says that Antonio will be taken to be his teacher by precept and example. He will get possession of Naples exactly in the way Antonio secured Milan. He further tells Antonio to draw his sword. One blow shall release him from the tribute he pays to Alonso, and forever win the affection of Sebastian when he will become the king. Antonio, draw together, and I will rear my hand. Do you like to fall it on Gonzalo? Let us discuss the meanings, children. Draw together means draw the sword together. Rear means raise. Fall it means bring it down. So Antonio tells Sebastian that they should draw the swords together. When he raises his hand, Sebastian should do the same and let it fall on Gonzalo. Antonio and Sebastian draw their swords. Sebastian, oh, but one word. So Antonio and Sebastian draw their swords together. Sebastian says that he wants to have one word with Antonio. Enter Ariel with music and song. Ariel to Gonzalo. My master through his art foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in and sends me forth. For else his project dies to keep them living. Let us see the meanings, children. Art means magic. His friend, Prospero's friend. That is, Ariel is talking to sleeping Gonzalo, who is Prospero's friend. Project dies means the plan fails. So here at this point in time, children, Ariel enters. He is invisible and he enters with music and song. Ariel says to Gonzalo that his master Prospero, by means of his magic art, is able to anticipate the danger that surrounds Gonzalo, who is his friend. And therefore, his master has sent him at once to keep them living, for otherwise his own plan will be frustrated. Sings in Gonzalo's ear, while you here do snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy his time doth take. If of life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake, awake. Let us discuss the meanings, children. Snoring lie is are deep in sleep. Open-eyed conspiracy, the wakeful conspirators. Here, children, it is a personification because conspiracy is alert like a man, or here conspiracy is like an alert man. Time, opportunity, slumber, sleep. Beware, be on your guard. So Ariel then sings to Gonzalo that while he is in deep sleep, the wakeful conspirator avails his opportunity. If he cares for his life, he must shake off his sleep and be on his guard. He asks Gonzalo to wake up. Let us now read the gist of the lines, children. Sebastian says that Antonio will be his role model. Just as Antonio got Milan, he will get Naples. He tells Antonio to take out his sword. He further says that with one cut, he can be through paying money to Naples. That means he need not pay any money to Naples. And as a king, Sebastian will love him forever. Antonio tells Sebastian to take out his sword too. He says when he raises his hand, Sebastian must do the same and bring it down on Gonzalo's head. Antonio and Sebastian take out their swords. Sebastian tells Antonio that there's one more thing to tell. Here Ariel enters, invisible, singing and playing music. Ariel sings in Gonzalo's ear. He talks to sleeping Gonzalo that with his magic powers, his master can see the dangers that Gonzalo, that is Prospero's friend, is in. So Prospero has sent him to make sure these men survive and to guarantee his plans succeed. Ariel sings in Gonzalo's ear. While Gonzalo lies there snoring, men are plotting against him. If he wants to stay alive, he must wake up and beware. Wake up, wake up. Let us now read lines 301 till 309. Antonio, then let us both be sudden. So Antonio says that they both should be speedy. Gonzalo wakes. Now, good angels, preserve the king. Preserve, children, means save. So Gonzalo wakes up quickly and says, may his guardian angels save the king. Alonso wakes. Why, how now? Ho, awake. To Sebastian and Antonio, why are you drawn? Wherefore this ghastly looking? Meaning of ghastly looking, children? It means this frightened look in your eyes. Children, Alonso also wakes up here and asks, what's the matter? He then gives out a warning cry and asks others to wake up. He asks Antonio and Sebastian why they have drawn their swords and why they look so pale. Gonzalo, what's the matter? So Gonzalo also asks, what is the matter? Sebastian, while we stood here securing your repose, even now we heard a hollow burst of bellowing, like bulls or rather lions. Did not wake though? It struck mine ear most terribly. Now children, let us see the meaning of securing. Means guarding. Repose, sleep. Bellowing, growling. So Sebastian gets alert and says that they were keeping watch over their majesty while they were all sleeping. He says that he himself and Antonio heard a deep and distant growl like that of bulls or lions. He asks if they got awakened because of that. He further says that it had startled him very much. Alonso, I heard nothing. Alonso replies that he did not hear anything like that. Let us read the gist of the lines. Antonio says that they both should act quickly. Gonzalo wakes up and sees Antonio and Sebastian and prays to God to help the king and save him. Alonso wakes up and asks, what's this and what's going on? Now everyone else wakes up. He asks Antonio and Sebastian why their swords are out and why they look like that. Gonzalo also asks them what's that all about. Sebastian says that while they slept, he himself and Antonio heard a loud roar that sounded like bulls or lions. He further asks if they did not hear it. He says that Antonio as well as he himself heard it very clearly. Alonso says that he did not hear anything. Let us now read lines 310 till 322. Antonio, oh, it was a din to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake. Now children, what is the meaning of din? It means noise. Fright, frighten. A monster's ear, that is a devil's ear. So Antonio is now forced to improvise Sebastian's excuse and says that it was a noise that could frighten even the ears of a monster and could cause the earth to shake. Sure, it was the roar of a whole herd of lions. A herd, children, means group. He further says that it was surely the roar of a herd of lions. Alonso, heard you this, Gonzalo? Alonso asks Gonzalo if he also heard anything like that. Gonzalo, upon my honor, sir, I heard a humming, and that was a strange one, which did awake me. I shaked you, sir, and cried. The children, what is the meaning of shaked? It means shook. So Gonzalo is surprised and says that he swears he heard a low murmur. It actually, children, was Ariel's voice buzzing in his ear, which was meant to wake him up, though Gonzalo was not aware of it. Therefore, he swears that he heard a low murmur, and that was a very strange murmur, which woke him up. He says that then he shook Alonso and shouted, "And mine eyes open. I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise. That's verily. It is best we stand upon our guard, or that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons." Now children, what is the meaning of verily? It means that is certain. Gonzalo says that as he opened his eyes, he saw Antonio and Sebastian with their swords drawn. He says that it was true that there was a noise. Now children, Gonzalo's prudence maybe has told him that they have made up the story of roaring beast and are giving an excuse of drawing out their swords. So he says that it is most sweet and proper that they should be on guard, or they should leave that place. He suggests that they should also draw their swords. Alonso, lead off this ground and let's make further search for my poor son. So Alonso tells Gonzalo to conduct them from that place. He suggests that they should go on further quest for his unfortunate son Ferdinand. Gonzalo, heavens keep him from these beasts. Keep him means protect him, for he is sure in this island. Gonzalo now prays to God to save Ferdinand from the beast. He is sure that Ferdinand is somewhere on the island. Alonso, lead away. So Alonso again tells Gonzalo to conduct them from that place. Ariel, aside, Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son. Exeunt. So Ariel is in an exultant mood and says that he will inform his master Prospero of what he has done. He further addresses Alonso and says that king must go safely in search of his son. And then he exits. Let us now read the gist of the lines. Antonio says that it was a monstrous roar, loud enough to make the earth tremble. He assures that there was a herd of lions nearby. Alonso asks Gonzalo if he heard the sound. Gonzalo says that it's true that he heard a humming sound, which was a strange one, which woke him up. Hearing it, he shook Alonso and shouted at him. When he opened his eyes, he saw Antonio's and Sebastian's swords out. Gonzalo further says that it is certainly true that there was a noise. Gonzalo suggests that they should either be on guard there constantly or move to a different camp. He suggests that they should draw their own swords too. Alonso tells Gonzalo to lead them away from that area. He further says that they can search for his poor son, that is Ferdinand, while they are at the island. Gonzalo hopes that those lions stay far away from Ferdinand. He says that he is sure that Ferdinand is somewhere on the island. Alonso agrees and tells Gonzalo to get them out of that place. Ariel says to himself that his Lord Prospero will know what he has done and says that the king must go ahead and look for his son. They exit. Now children, that is all for the day today, and for homework you will do extracts 10 and 11 with pen on your workbook. Thank you.